lots of kids. She's actually dressed, of course, very fancifully, like at a Christmas party. She has little shiny black shoes on and white tights and a red and black dress. She's showing me sitting with some other children her age in a little circle. And she's showing me her brother on off to the side with another group of kids closer to his age. And they're all just playing or talking, whatever kids do. She's showing me that her mother is sitting with some other ladies. And now she's showing me that her father is actually in another room with several men. And she said it made her very angry because they were not participating in the Christmas celebration. They were doing business. So her dad, they were doing business in another room. Okay. She said they were very excited when Santa Claus showed up. And he had lots and lots of gifts for the kids. But she knew it wasn't really Santa Claus. She knew it was another family friend that always played Santa at these Christmas parties. She's saying that this man was not the man that hurt her. A lot of people thought he was, but he was not. Okay. Now she's saying that when they left the party, it was fairly late at night, and they went back home. And they all went to bed because it was Christmas Eve. They got up the next morning, had Christmas morning, everything was fine. Neighbor friends came over that afternoon. They had a big dinner or a luncheon, brunch type thing. And that night they went to another Christmas party at another friend's home.
Somebody asked, so who was it?
Who was it that killed her? Is that what they're asking?
Guessing.
I don't know. I'm letting her lead me here and tell me what she wants to tell me. She's saying that her father wasn't always nice. He was a very tough disciplinarian. That her and Burke got a lot of spankings. And this night that they left the party, they were walking home. It was like right across the street from their home, or very close to their home. She was not wanting to go home. And she's showing me her dad. He's got her by the hand, and he's not like dragging her, but it's like how you pull a little kid when they're not wanting to go with you. He's kind of pulling her, making her come. And then he picks her up and carries her home. Okay. And she said they all went to bed as usual. Okay. She's getting really very hesitant. I'm talking right now. Um, she's not. She's not. Um, okay. She just asked me. She says, "Can I talk about?" She says, "Can I talk about after I died?" Okay. If you're not comfortable with talking about anything, I don't want you to talk about it. You talk about what you're comfortable talking about. She's telling me that when she transitioned, when she actually died, she said it was very confusing to her, that she did not understand what was happening. She watched everything occur that occurred after her death and was very confused. She's saying that once she saw everything that was going on, and after, I don't know if you all know the story, of how everything, um, she's telling me to lead you in through this story. Um, Patsy and John woke up evidently very early that morning. Um, John went to take a shower, and Patsy was going to go downstairs. And on her way down the steps is when she found the ransom letter, which was 3 pages long, stating in part of the letter was that they said that your daughter had been kidnapped, and they asked for a strange amount of $118,000, which was a very strange amount. Why not ask for $1 million or whatever? They were very wealthy people. But strangely enough, the $118,000 was the exact amount that John had just got from his work. His Christmas bonus was $118,000. Okay, now she's telling me the story. She said her mama started hollering, and her dad came downstairs and saw and got the ransom note and read the ransom note. And she said that her mom immediately called the neighbors, and they came over to the house before she called the police. Then her mother called 911. Okay. She's saying that everybody came to the house. Everybody was there. And that was a big problem, right? Because there was, they just, it was a crime scene and everybody was allowed to just go all through the house, right? She said she kept trying to talk to them, saying, I'm downstairs, and no one would hear her. Long story short, the ransom letter stated that the kidnappers were going to call between 8 and 10 a.m., and that call never came. So at that point, one of the police detectives, she says it was a lady, asked her father and his friend to just from top to bottom go through the house one more time and look for JobBenet. And they immediately went to the basement. And John immediately, okay, she's showing me the picture of the basement. And it's a big basement, but there's like 3 rooms. 2 rooms with doors to go in and out of, and then there's a big wine cellar towards the back. That's very dark, she says, very dark. John immediately opened that door and said, I found her. He went, okay. She said he went to her body. She was evidently strangled with something. He removed that. He untied her. She said she had tape on her wrist. He took the tape off her wrist and carried her upstairs. And she says the strange thing happened, that no one cried. She said she thought her mommy would be sad, but no one cried. Then she's saying she left, and she left the house and she went back to the other side. So, will you talk at all about what happened? She's saying that she's very hesitant. Okay. This all has to do with the abuse, with the sexual abuse. She's saying that she did not die there. She was not killed in the basement. That she was brought to the basement after she had passed. Okay, so I don't understand what you're saying. She says, when I was 6 years old, I did not understand what was going on. But she now understands this was part of a business deal with her father and some of his partners. She's saying that there was a lot of people involved, even higher up people. Are you talking about, like, she said, like, government people in Boulder? And it was a business deal. That it was something that her dad allowed to happen for a business deal. However, he has been involved. Are you talking about like a child pornography ring? Or something like that? That's exactly, she's saying yes. That her and her brother both were involved, along with many of the kids in the area. And that's all she's not wanting to say anymore. Okay, she said the last thing she knew is she felt something go into her back, and then she didn't remember anything else. And to let you all know that when they did find the body and when they took her to autopsy, she did have a fractured skull. She did have evidence of sexual abuse. And she did have spots on her back that looked like it could have been from a stun gun. And that's all she says. She's saying that people know what happened. There's people that know. And there's actual pictures of what happened. And an actual recording of what happened. That is still out there to be found. Okay, so not pushing you any further than you want to go. There's been like 2 or 3, I think, people that have like claimed that they've been the ones that killed you. They've all, I think, been proven not guilty because of the DNA evidence. And she's saying that's right. And she's saying that they're not going to find who did it because the DNA evidence was so so messed up from her being moved and replaced and people allowed to walk through the home and things like that. So you're telling me that she says she does not know because after she was whatever she passed out, she does not know for sure how she died or how it happened. But that 2 people, her father and another person, carried her back to her home and placed her where her body was found. Okay. So, JobBenet, we know your mom has since passed from cancer. Have you connected with her on the other side? She says she has, briefly. but not for very long. She's saying that her existence in the spirit world now has revolved around learning. She's showing me a big room filled with thousands and thousands and thousands of books. She's saying that she loves to read and learn, and that's what she's doing on the other side. Which, on the other side, she says she's not been there very long. What's a long time here is just a matter of hours there. She does want everyone to know that her brother Burke did not kill her. He is not the one that did it. And I think that was a big thing. Everybody thought he might have done that. So tell me a little bit, if you will, for everybody that's watching, what's like over there? What's it like where you are? And she said, like she says, she spends most of her time reading and learning. And studying. She says she has been given the opportunity to return back in human form, but she does not want to do that yet. She says she still has a lot of issues that she's going through and trying to learn from that and to learn why her life was the way it was when she was here in human form. So if you could give anybody watching any kind of advice or anything that could help them on their spiritual journey, or their journey of enlightenment, what would you tell them? She's saying that she wants everybody to know that we are all light and we are all of one spirit. And that we are all the same. There's no difference. There's no better. There's no worse. She wants everyone to know that we are all born with... She's calling God's, she's saying God's light. And that we will always carry that with us. She is saying that for everyone, she wants to know that you need to live your life because you never know when it's going to be over. And it's very important that you live for today. She wants everyone to know that there is peace. She has found peace. And has come to the acceptance of what happened to her here while she was in life form. And she wants everyone to know that death, she actually called it she's calling it transition instead of death. She's saying transition comes to everyone, that we should not fear, and we should know that we are all spirits and we're all one. So I know that you were brought up in church and brought up believing a certain way. What is it? Is it that way when you got there? Is it like heaven? Is it what? She's saying that whatever you want it to be is what it will be. She said if you want to see God, you will see God. She says if you want to see any God you may believe in, you will see that God. And she says if you want to be like me and read and study, you could read and study.
Somebody said, is it like everyone says, if you do a bad thing, you will go to hell?
It's a good question. She says there is no actual hell. She said the hell that you live in is what you go through here on earth. You put yourself through hell by judging yourself, by thinking you're not good enough, by thinking you're going to go to hell. That's what she's basically saying. She said you may have to learn and be taught and showed by the teachers why you messed up or what you did wrong, but you always have a choice to make it better. Okay, so talking about always have a choice to make it better, and you had talked about that you have chosen not to come back. So you're talking about reincarnation, right? And that is an option. Everyone has an option if they want to be reborn or if they want to stay. Okay, that's a good answer. It's a good question. Have you seen any more questions come through?
I haven't been looking.
Any more questions anybody wants to ask while we still have her here with us?
Give it a second.
Grab a drink.
Hey, look. I've been recording on your phone.
Okay. Any questions anybody wants to ask?
This one says, why does everyone say that Katy Perry is JobBenet Ramsey?
Oh, gosh. Well,
That's a good one.
that's crazy because actually Katy Perry is like 10 years older than JobBenet would be, even if JobBenet was still alive. Katy Perry's like, what, 35, 38, somewhere in that area. So
Are you serious?
Yeah, she's older than JobBenet anyway. I think it's because she looks a lot like JobBenet or has some facial features like JobBenet had maybe. But I've seen her on talk shows and stuff, and that's been asked of her a lot. She is not, JobBenet is not Katy Perry.
Ask her if she thinks I could be a patty queen.
She says that's not a fun life.
I mean, even if you want to.
She says if you want to. She said if you like that stuff. She says sometimes she liked it, sometimes she didn't.
Well, hell yeah. I like being given attention.
She said she would have rather been outside playing in the dirt.
Mm-hmm.
But it made her mother happy. She says she does not like that that's the legacy that she's left here on earth. That's the way people remember her.
I mean, they wouldn't have knew her if she hadn't have done that. Her death wouldn't have been something that would have been looked at and learned from.
It would have just been another
Death.
death, yeah.
Yeah, nobody would have looked at that. Hey, one of my friends is watching.
Any more questions? Anybody?
She's talking to JobBenet Ramsey.
I'm actually here. My spirit guide Joel is with me, and he has brought JobBenet Ramsey here to talk to us tonight.
I mean, low-key, I got a question. Can spirit guides be like looking at you and tell you if you're going to hell? Am I going to hell?
Joel.
I'm for real. I think I'm going to hell.
He's just said JobBenet answered that question fairly well.
I mean, yeah, but they'll make a personalized hell just for me in the afterlife, I'm sure. I mean, I'm
He
not
says
like
if
Hitler.
you think you're going to hell, you will be in your own hell.
Fucking stop, Joel. Oh my god. I don't want... Fuck. What am I going to think?
Language, Gabby, please.
Sorry. What am I going to think? I want to go to a $1 billion mansion or a pretty pool.
He said, whatever you want your afterlife to be, it will be.
Like, you swear, bro? Like, what you swear on?
Gabby, please respect.
Joel, I respect you, like, 100%. I'm sorry I act like this. I'm a hood rat. Like, I don't know, bro. This is scary.
He says if you live every day in love, he says if you live every day in love, you will have no regrets. That the source of life only expects that from you. So when you say the source of life, it could mean if I believe in God, that's God. The source of life is God. If that's who I believe in, yeah.
So atheists can go to like their own heaven?
He says, of course.
Thanks, Joel.
So that's a whole other subject. If we get in talking about that, right? That's a whole nother discussion, he said. That's a whole nother show, he says. So, this is going to be a weekly deal. The first couple of times, tonight and next week, my spirit guide is going to be bringing through to me who he wants me to talk to. After that, he's going to facilitate people maybe I want to talk to, or my listeners. Go to my Facebook page, The Compassionate Medium, like it, follow it, comment who you may want to see come through in spirit, who might be interesting to talk to, and hopefully that's what we'll be able to do. My spirit guide has promised me that he will facilitate, because the whole purpose of this is to expand the mind and empower the spirit. Because there's more to life and to spirit life than most people will ever understand. So if we can enlighten and expand your mind, that's the purpose of this whole series. So one last time, is there any questions anybody wants to ask before we end this session? Not seeing any roll through. Are you?
Mm-mm.
Once again, on Facebook, I am The Compassionate Medium. Go by and like my page, and you can keep up with all of the live feeds that we'll be doing. So I want to thank everybody for being here and watching tonight. And remember, expand and empower your spirit. Okay? Thanks everybody for watching. Thanks to Gabby for helping. And we'll see you next week. Bye.